Why does Dying Light 2 get a pass? Now, I'm not saying that no one has complained about it, but it just doesn't seem to be as big of a deal as people made Cyberpunk out to be. I mean, I remember everyone was saying how broken Cyberpunk 2077 was and calling it Cyberbug instead of Cyberpunk. I mean, there were so many videos, articles, tweets, and it was even trending on Twitter how broken Cyberpunk was, and everyone was calling it Cyberbug. But what I don't see is any Dying Bug 2 pages. I mean, maybe I'm just missing them and I just haven't seen them, but even when Dying Light 2 released, I didn't see it trending on Twitter for being broken, only that people were excited for the game and how much fun the game was. Now, I'm just going to come out and say it right now that I gave both games a good review because I enjoyed both games and I personally didn't experience all the terrible glitches and bugs that are in both games, and I can only review and comment on my experience. But from what I've seen, both games are super buggy and broken, or at least they were at launch. Dying Light 2 is still kind of in its launch, but Cyberpunk, when it released, it was super broken and buggy at its launch, though I didn't experience all of it. But Dying Light 2 is still pretty buggy and broken, and some people still can't even play the game, especially if you're on console, because the game, right when it launched, it had death loops where you could get stuck in a loop and just die over and over again when loading into the game, or an NPC could get stuck in geometry or just stop moving and then you could not progress with the story, or an NPC would disappear, or sometimes if you're in co-op, the game will just not progress. It will just get stuck, and the mission, no matter what you do, you just can't progress because you're either stuck in a room, the NPC won't talk to you, or the NPC doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, Dying Light 2 is a multiplayer co-op game, just like Dying Light 1, where you can have your friends and play through a good zombie game. In Dying Light 2, the game is fun, yes, but if you're going to play the game in co-op, then good luck, as almost everything in co-op mode is broken compared to single player, and you're more likely going to have to at least play parts of the game by yourself to get through the entire game, because co-op, good luck making it to the end, because it will probably break on you, and hopefully you don't get stuck in a death loop, or you just don't get stuck somewhere and can't progress, because then you're going to have to wait for a fix, or you're going to have to restart the entire game. Not to mention that Dying Light 2 is very unoptimized and it has a hard time running, and I was running the game with an RTX 3060 Ti and an Intel i9 at 9900K, and the game was very unoptimized. It was just... DLSS is a must in this game if you're going to play it with an RTX card, because no matter what, the frame rate is just not as high as it should be, and with some cards, you're lucky if you get 60 frames per second. Really, all I'm trying to say is that if you're going to critique and say that Cyberpunk was a broken, buggy mess, and yes, the game was fun in my opinion, but if you're going to say Cyberpunk is a broken, buggy mess, then you also have to say Dying Light 2 is a broken, buggy mess, even though it is fun. It has, you know, you can have fun in the game and it will bring you some fun, good times. You still have to say it's a broken and buggy mess. And unfortunately, most games nowadays that are released, at least AAA games, end up being broken, buggy messes. And that's why part of me thinks that when a game comes out and it slightly works better than some of the other games, it just gets automatically slightly better reviews just because you're actually playing a game that somewhat works. And don't get me wrong, Dying Light 2 is fun. I put around 54 hours in the game so far, and I might go back to it. All I'm saying is that we need to see Dying Bug 2 trending instead of Dying Light 2. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me what you guys think about Dying Light 2 and this video, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you want to be subscribed. I'll see you guys next time.